for today's workout, we're going to be doing resistance training using a combination of dumbbells, resistance bands, and body weight. So a little bit of everything in this workout. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit that like button for me. It helps support the channel and it lets me know you want more of this type of content. So what we're going to start out with is doing a warm up for the muscles in the chest and the back. So working the traps, the lats, some of the bicep with a row movement, and then the tricep, the chest, and the anterior deltoid, that front of the shoulder, with a press movement. So for this, I'm going to be using a resistance band. Hang on one moment. Okay. So for the first, I always like to do these exercises in pairs. So while one muscle is working, the other muscle set is resting. So I like to pair them into exercises that work complementary muscles. So for our press exercise, I'm going to anchor the band right at shoulder height, right where it's actually right about chest height. And then using a slightly lighter band for a warm up, I'm going to step forward, I have a twist in the band, make sure that it's even. So I'm going to step forward till I feel the band pulling me back all the way to my chest. From here, I'm going to straighten my back so my chest is pointed a little bit up towards the ceiling. So I'm really getting that great stretch in the chest. That's what's going to create tension in the muscle, and that helps build muscle as you're doing this. So I'm going to go all the way back to my chest and then press out forward, trying to keep my hands at elbow width. I'm not letting them tuck in close to my chest, I'm keeping them wide. So I'm going to do about 10 reps of these, getting blood flow into the muscle, getting a warm-up set. This is what's called a warm-up set. We're not trying to get exhausted at this point. We're just getting blood flow into the muscle. So it shouldn't be incredibly strenuous. If you're really having to push against the band, you're probably going too heavy with that band for our first set. Now, as we go, you're going to want to go a heavier band or a combination of bands to make it so it is tiring by 10. Because that's how your muscle is actually going to grow and be challenged. Right now, we're just getting everything primed and ready to go. So we're getting blood flow into the muscle, we're working on technique, and then getting ready to go for our what are called working sets, where we're doing heavier weights. So now I'm going to do a row. So to start this, I'm going to let the band pull me all the way forward, trying to keep my back straight, letting my shoulder blades pull forward, and then bring the hands back to the rib cage, really driving those elbows back. So I'm working a row. This is working all those upper back muscles. I'm going all the way back out to the front to let the muscle fully stretch into that tensioned position. If I'm not doing a full range of motion where I'm going all the way back, I'm cheating myself out of the most important part of the exercise. So, and it's especially important even on a warm up to go all the way back. I'm fully lengthening those connective tissues and all the parts of the muscle. And relax. Now you should start to feel your muscles warming up. Now if you don't yet, you feel like, man, I really feel pretty stiff, still pretty cold, you can always add an additional warm-up set, so I ease into the heavier weights. So what I like to do, I take this red band and add an additional band to it. If I don't feel quite warmed up yet, I just slowly add weight to it till I get to my full working weight. And especially if you're just starting out, that's a great way of easing into finding the weight that's going to be challenging for you. For today though, it's pretty warm out. I'm warmed up. I feel good, feel loose in my shoulders. So I'm going to add this black band for my full working weight. So this is what's challenging for me at about 10 reps. Excuse me a moment. So, feel pretty good in my shoulders. I'm gonna do the same 2 exercises with the same technique at a heavier weight. So now I've warmed up my body. I'm going back into that chest press. Now at this point, this is where I start counting the number of sets I do in an exercise. Now if you're just starting out, I would start with 1 set and see how you feel. You can always add more sets as you're capable later. So for the first workout, try 1 set, see if you feel sore after. Then you could try 2 sets after the first week of doing that, or after one, you could even do that as early as your second workout. When I'm working out, I like to do 4 sets right now. I'm gonna try and get 5 sets down the road, but we'll see how 4 does this week. So I'm trying for 4 sets per workout on these exercises. So hands wide, elbow width, chest out. Should feel that band pulling me back. I'd like to step forward with 1 foot. Doesn't matter which foot, just to have a little bit better balance. Pushing out towards the front. Feeling that across my chest and the back of my arms and the front of my shoulder. Pinching my shoulder blades together as I go back. Keep those hands wide. I breathe out as I push out and in as I come back. I'm going until I feel tired in that muscle. And relax. Now going to the other direction. I like to keep the same weight on both exercises. I find that's pretty effective for me. You might need to adjust the bands a little bit between. That's okay if you need to go a little lighter. It might be your shoulders, the muscles in your upper back and shoulders are not quite as strong as your chest. That's okay. So, but for me, I keep the same weight roughly, or I keep the same bands because I find that these are about even for me. But you might need to adjust it down or up a little bit based on which is a stronger muscle group for you. So I'm pulling back to my rib cage, all the way back to the front. Doing that row movement. So I'm letting my shoulder blades pull back and then return back to a forward position. So this is moving those shoulder blades along your rib cage and all the muscles that control that movement. And 10. Now it's important you don't pull in, you want to pull wide. So you're pulling a little bit at an angle. So instead of going straight back like this, I'm going just a little bit out to the side to really emphasize that shoulder blade retraction where it pulls in from your shoulder blade. This is working those middle traps and rhomboids a little bit more. So while one side's working, the other side's resting. So I'm going straight back in to a chest press. Making sure that the band is about even on both sides. Stepping forward, feeling that pulling me back. I'm pushing out towards the front. Feel that across your chest as you go to the back. Switch my grip. And relax. For this exercise, you can either have it underneath or over the top of your arms. For me, it was digging into my arm a little bit on my left side, so I switched grips to underneath with the band. As long as your hands are wide, it's totally fine either way. And it's our second set of row. We're trying for 4 sets in all because that helps us grow more muscle faster by increasing the number of sets. So it does take more work, but if you have the time and are able to do the exercise and still be recovered by the next time you need to work out, more sets can help you grow faster. So it's increasing the amount of times you're doing the exercise in a week. So that's called volume, or volume of exercise. So by increasing that volume of challenging sets, we can increase how fast that muscle grows. Now, there's other things that are important, like proper nutrition, getting enough rest, getting enough recovery, and those will help your muscle grow as well. But there's no substitute for for difficulty. Even if you're eating well, even if you're resting well, if you're not telling your body to send resources to your muscles to have them grow, you're not going to see that same, you're not going to see the growth you want. So there is no substitute for exercise and putting your muscle under resistance. Now, for some people, they have jobs that do that. Like if you're working in construction, you might see great muscle growth because you're doing a lot of building and hammering and lifting up heavy planks, things like that, or bags of cement, where it doesn't have to be in the gym. But especially for those who have jobs that are not really physical, it's so important to maintain your muscle by doing resistance training of some kind. Doesn't have to be with bands, doesn't have to be with weights. Could be calisthenics or any number of different things. But finding something that works for you, that you can make a part of your day-to-day life, is so important, because otherwise we all lose muscle as we age unless we do work to maintain it. And that's so important for being able-bodied and strong and healthy. So if I can help you guys do that in any way, that's what I'm here for. So if that sounds good to you, hit that bell icon along with subscribe so you can be here working out. We can be encouraging one another to stay happy and healthy, continuing to keep healthy muscle. All right, going for set number 3, doing a row. And the earlier you start, the easier it is to maintain that muscle. I've had clients who are in their 80s, so World War II veteran, but even at 80, you can still get stronger, still work on building muscle. It's harder, but you can do it. So we worked at re-strengthening his legs, and we went from needing a wheelchair to walking a mile without any sort of help. So it is possible, it just takes a lot of work. So it's easier the younger you start. Now, I'm not saying that that's true, that is possible for everyone, but so don't take that as a guarantee you'll be able to go from going a wheelchair and needing assistive devices. Sometimes those are helpful. But we can all work at getting stronger than we started with. So that's what I'd encourage you to do. Wherever you are, wherever you're at, we can all work at getting stronger, and there's hope in that. So I think it's so important to use the body God gave us, to strengthen it, and not let it go to waste. I think that's such an important thing, to use it and keep it strong, not just let it decay. And manage it well. So that's why I'm doing this, because I want to have a body that's capable of doing everything I need it to. There's a verse, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. It's working for the Lord and not for men. And so I think even in weightlifting, it's working at it with all your heart, trying to do it well, trying to keep a healthy body, healthy muscles. So important. Now, and whether that's 5 pounds, 50 pounds, or 500 pounds, whatever you can do, giving all that you can is so important. And so if that's you, if you're just starting out and 5 pounds is what you can do, that's awesome. I'm proud of you. That's so good. Hardest thing is actually starting. It's actually easier on some of these exercises, even though the weight is heavy, just because it's so familiar. I've done it, I've adapted to it. But I remember back to when I first started some of these exercises, they are difficult and it's hard. And so if that's you today, I'm so proud of you for taking the steps to work on your health and work on your muscle strength. Because that's the thing I think people don't realize. They've been doing it so long that they forget how hard it is just to start, and your first workout is the hardest workout. But on the bright side, it gets easier as you do it. Your body gets used to it, it gets adapted to it, learns how to do it more efficiently. So there's hope in that. Don't worry, it's not gonna stay like that. It's going to change. That's the other thing, is people think, oh, I have to do this workout and I'm not seeing any change. Because sometimes it takes time, it's a process. And so people lose trust in the process. But it will change over time. It won't be days, it might take weeks or months, but there will be change. So we just did 4 sets of pulling and pushing exercises this way. Now, I'm going to grab a resistance band. Like these. This is more of a power band style where it's a full big loop. So we're going to do pushing and pulling vertically to hit the muscles in a different way. So to do that, using the power band for pull-ups. So What I like to do for these is pull it down, put my knee in the loop, then grab about shoulder width. Now this is an assisted pull-up, so the band is actually taking some of my body weight off of the pull-up, so I can do multiple pull-ups from a full hang. Now, what I'm doing is going all the way down where I'm fully hanging off of my lats. That gets that high tension in the lat muscles. So this muscle right in here, you should feel it a lot in that full hang. And that's the most important part of the movement, is going all the way down to a full hang. I'm gonna bend my elbows, bring my forehead up to the bar, and then back to a full hang. Working that bicep and the lats on this especially. And going for about 10 of those today. So I just did pulling down. Now I'm going to work a vertical press pushing up. This is working that tricep and some of that front of chest, along with the deltoid muscle here on the side. So for this, I'm gonna grab some dumbbells. Now for me, I have a fan up there, so careful what's above you. You're gonna start with the dumbbells right in front of your chin. So sort of at the front of your shoulder. So it should be, you can see that they're a little bit forward. I'm not straight out to the side like this. I'm back right at the front of my chest. And from here, I'm going to press up towards the ceiling and then back down, trying to keep the dumbbells right over the top of my shoulders. Just trying to miss that fan. It's important to come all the way back down to your shoulders to let those traps and deltoids fully extend. We are also working the traps a bit with this as well, which are the muscles on top of your neck. Now my triceps are already tired from the last exercise, so I definitely feel more of a burn in the back of that arm, right back in here. Excuse me. I like these exercises because they're what's called compound exercises, where we're working a lot of muscles all at once. So if you're short on time, it's a really efficient way of doing a large groups of muscles all at once and getting a lot of muscles in the same amount of time. All right, going back for our second set of pull-ups. So going from a full hang, bring my forehead up to the bar, and then back down to a full hang. Even if I can't get my head to the bar, I'm still trying to go to a full hang. And that's as far as I go, actually. Whew. Hands are starting to feel that, actually. Where I'm also working on grip strength, just because holding that bar, everything has to support through the hands. So if you're needing grip strength, easy way of doing that is hanging from a bar. Along with the lats and other things, it will actually boost build up that forearm for more grip. So that was set number 2. So I'm, again, trying to get 4 sets of each of these exercises. So doing vertical press, chest up, pushing the hands up over the top of the shoulders, and then back. Now it's important, keep those hands over the top of the shoulders, where you're not bringing them together where they clank together, going straight up. So keep that chest pointed up. And last one, and relax. So right now, I'm focusing a lot of my exercises on the upper body. Gonna do lower body for a more full body workout as our last 2 exercises. So if you're liking this content and want to see more, I host these live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're looking for someone to work out with you, or you have questions, or you just want to talk about exercises and working out, go ahead and hit that bell icon with the subscribe to be here when we're live. I'm gonna take a moment to let my heart rate come back down a little. It's pretty hot today here, so it's a lot warmer working out. Is it pretty hot where you guys are? No, it's always more fatiguing to work out while it's warm. So these summer months tend to be a lot harder. So drink plenty of water, maybe have a fan going, don't overheat. But it's just as important to work out and keep that going, especially when it's hard. Might mean you need to take a little longer with your workout to give yourself enough time to get the workout in without going too high with your heart rate. What I'm doing is I'm watching my heart rate to see it drop down. I'm trying to let it go below 120 because it was up at 160-ish as I'm working, just to stay cool. And I don't want it to be the limiting factor of my workout, where it's actually just feeling like I'm overheating. So want the muscle to actually be challenged, not just my body's ability to stay cool. All right, going back to a full hang for these pull-ups. Yep, that's as far as it goes. Oh. Now, I'm not quite getting to 10, and that's okay, because I'm going over 5 reps. So today is just taking more out of me to do these pull-ups, but I'm, as long as I'm getting more than 5 reps, even if it's not 10, that's okay. I'm shooting for about 10, but if I can't quite get there, as long as I get over 5, that's okay. Now, if you go, so the numbers we're shooting for are between 5 reps and 30 reps. So anywhere in that range is just fine. I like to shoot for around 10 just as a good idea. And I find that it tends to be a great place to start, is trying to aim for around 10, where that way you're not too close to 5, not too close to 30. And especially as we get tired, maybe you start with 10, next set you do 8, next set you do 7, next set you do 6. You haven't gone below that threshold of not being able to get to 5. So for instance, for this is a hard workout to do pull-ups. So as I'm going, I got to, I think, 7 that time. Started at 10, went to 8, then to 7. I still want to make sure I'm getting over 5 by the 4th set. So, overhead press, vertical press, hands right at the front of your shoulders, and then pushing up towards the ceiling, and then back down to the shoulders. I'm looking up with my head to keep my chest up. And I'm going until I feel tired in that muscle. And then relaxing. So almost done. Got this and 2 more exercises to go for doing some lower body work. For the lower body, I personally have a goal of getting a single-legged squat. I'm not there yet. So what I'm gonna be doing is working on a split squat, which is a little bit easier variation of that single-legged squat. One variation is called a pistol squat, where your legs out in front and you're just squatting on this leg. Can't quite do that, so I'm gonna start with a split squat to gradually build up the leg strength to be able to do that. The taller you are, the harder that is going to be to do a single-legged squat. Think about it like balancing. The taller something is, the harder it is to balance. Same thing with people. Taller you are, the more effort it's going to take to balance that single-legged squat. I'm just letting my heart rate come back down. I think though, being able to support your weight on one leg, I think is such an important thing that I want to build up. Because say for instance, you step down with one leg is in the air, and you start to lose your balance, being able to control that movement with just a single leg, I think is really good and a thing I want to get stronger at. If you have something you want to get stronger at, let me know in the comments. I'd love to support you, talk about your goals, or just encourage you. Let me know in the comments if you guys have a goal you're wanting to strive for. All right. Now, some people on the channel have a goal, just better circulation, better range of motion. Some people are looking more for building up health or being able to do a muscle up, things like that, specific movements. All right, last set of pull-ups. I'm trying to get at least 5 from a full hang. 5. Let's see if I can get 6. Thanks. Nope, that's 6, that's it. I got everything I could out of that exercise though. Can definitely feel that in my hands. Gonna take just a second. Definitely taking longer between exercises as we go. Go ahead and take this down. Whoa. Well, I still can. It's actually a lot harder to lift my arms right now. Everything is a little tired. Do you ever feel that at the end of a workout where you feel a little bit wobbly? That's normal. That's because you use the muscle. Your muscle is tired and recovering. But if you ever feel like your body's a little bit like jelly, means you worked hard. I'm good, proud of you. So our last set of vertical press, chest up, pushing up towards the ceiling, and then back all the way down. Now don't come back to here, come all the way back to your shoulder. So you're really getting everything out of that muscle, really lengthening the muscles in your neck and shoulder. A lot of people do just sort of half reps up here at the top, and they're cheating themselves out of the most important part of the movement, as well as they are only training in a shortened position, so they're training the muscle to be short. And a lot of people already deal with tension in their neck and neck pain, so why would you want to shorten muscle in your neck to just increase that? And last one. So I like to train full range of motion all the way up or all the way down. Even if I can't get all the way up to the top, I'm still gonna go all the way down to the bottom where that fully lengthened position. Because that's still can build strength and muscle even if I can't get up to the top where I'm fully extended like this. Even if I can only get halfway up, coming all the way back down is the most important part of that movement. All right, so now we're going to do some leg exercises. So for this, I'm going to be using a bench, but you could do this with a chair or any sort of seat. So I'm putting down the bench, doing what's called a split squat. So for this, I'm gonna put one foot out straight in front of me. This is the leg we're gonna be working. So that's the distance you want to be from the bench. So leg out straight, and then you're going to step up. So this front leg doesn't move. From here, putting the foot up on the bench or the chair. Now this is gonna be working this front leg right here in the front of the quads. So we're gonna bending down and then back up. Now if you need to, you can put the bench near a wall or something so you can hold for balance, especially if you feel a little unstable going as low. So that's what I'm gonna do today too. I'm gonna move this back here so I can hold on to this post so I can really get deep into that squat position. So putting the leg out forward, going here, foot on the bench. I have this post as a guide for me just to help maintain balance. I'm gonna bend down and then back up. Really trying to bend this front knee as much as possible. This is called a split squat. So I'm really working these quads on the front of my thigh on the front leg. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now with this, I'm a little bit bent forward. The more straight I can be, the better. But for today, I'm going to take just a minute between the sides just to let my heart rate come back down. This is a pretty taxing exercise, and it's hot today, so it just takes a little longer. So for the split squat, one leg out to the front, and then the other leg is up on the bench. And bending, this is my stronger side for sure. I can feel a bit better balanced. Back leg is just here for a little bit of support. And relax. All right. So that's the split squat for those quad muscles, the muscles that attach the front of the hip down through the kneecap right here. Whew. It's a great quad exercise. Can feel that pretty tired in here. Now for legs, I find they're a lot more fatiguing, so I tend to only do 3 sets of legs. I'm gonna try and work to 4, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. Now it might be that you need to stop at 1 or 2 sets, especially if you're just starting out. You might feel more tired. It's hard to keep good form. If you're ever at a point where you're not able to do good form of the movement, that's your stopping point, because that's a risk of injury. When your form breaks down, then your body starts to break down. That's not good. So it's better to ease into it slowly than to push yourself into injury. As the number one way of setting yourself back and at the gym and just in life in general, if you get injured, it's gonna put you back. So even though for things outside the gym. So we just worked the quads here. Now we're gonna work the hamstrings in the back. So for this, I like to do a stiff-legged deadlift. You come down like this. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can do it with a dumbbell. You can also do it with resistance bands. So doing a sort of you can do a stiff-legged deadlift or a pull-through. I personally prefer the pull-through because it's easier to set up here. But let me know in the comments what you guys have available to you. Would you like resistance bands or dumbbells more? So let me know. So for the pull-through, what I like to do is attach the band around something sturdy. Step through the band. So it's running right between your legs. Then you're going to walk out till the band is pulling you back through your legs. Now you're going to push your hips to the back, trying to keep your back straight. You should feel that tension on your hamstrings in this position. From here, you're going to straighten up, pushing your hips forward. I'm pulling through with my hands, or I'm pulling through, but pulling my hands through, but the thing that's doing that is my hamstrings and the back of my hips and thighs. So I'm going from a lengthened position to a shortened position of those hamstrings. I'm really trying to drive my hips back. So I'm not bending the back. I'm pushing my hips backwards. So the hamstrings are what's taking all that support, not the small muscles of my back, but the large muscles of my thighs. Oh. And relax. You can step back towards the band and then set it down to the side. And just take a minute before moving on to the next exercise. That was set number 1 of pull-throughs, and we're going for set number 2 of split squats. Now, if you're doing a workout well, it means you're challenging yourself. So you don't want to end a workout and feel like you haven't worked out at all. You want to end a workout feeling tired, feeling like you've pushed the muscle a little bit. That's what's called progressive overload, where you're gradually increasing the difficulty a little bit. Now, a lot of people hear that and they think, oh, I need to make it harder and harder, and more difficult is better. It's not exactly true. So, say you were doing an exercise with a 10-pound dumbbell, okay? So 10 pounds. Sometimes people think, oh, 10's not hard anymore. I need to go to 20 pounds. I need to go to the next dumbbell up. And that's actually too far, too fast. And that's risking injury or just not being able to complete the exercise. So instead of going up that fast, going up in weight, maybe you can find a dumbbell that's 12 pounds or a plate-loaded dumbbell that's 11 pounds, where you're just going up just a small increment up each time, each workout, trying to push yourself just a little bit further, but just a little bit. Sometimes you can do that in the number of reps you're doing too. Say you were doing 10 reps, try it for 11 reps on the next workout. Or say you were doing 3 sets of 10, right? Now try for 4 sets of 10 and see how that feels. Because the 4th set will also progressively overload a little bit more. You're overloading the amount of volume. So you can do weight, reps, or volume to overload your body. All right. My heart rate still hasn't dropped back down, so I'm giving my body a little bit more time. It's dropped, but not as low as I would want to, because I'm still working pretty hard to stay cool. So it is very warm. There was a study done on pull-ups, and they had 2 different groups. One got a thing to cool their body down with. They would hold it and it would run cool water through it. And so they could cool off faster. And they found that the group that got the cooling between sets of pull-ups did dramatically more pull-ups. I forgot the exact number, but it was a large amount more pull-ups. Like, I believe over 50% more pull-ups done. So heat will really sap your energy, sap your fatigue. And the places that build up or make it so you can lose heat are your palms and your feet. So if you're really wearing really heavy shoes and socks, that can actually hold on to heat a lot more. So if you're ever overheating, taking off your shoes can help. Just be aware that what your gym's policies are for shoes, because you also want to protect your feet. So a lot of places will require you to wear closed-toed shoes, but maybe after the gym, you can cool off by pulling your shoes off in your car, letting them cool off. All right, trying for another set of split squats. So I'm going to put my leg out in front, tells me how far away from the bench I need to be, and then putting the other foot up on top, having a post just a little bit for balance, bending the knee, going as low as I can, trying to tap my other knee down to the ground. Just tapping though, don't let it hit. I'm trying to keep my knee in line with my toes, so I'm not letting it drift off towards the middle. That is as far as I'm going. Man, it takes a lot out of my leg to do that. But that's what's going to help it grow. So I'm feeling that in my quads, just burning. That's good though. That's what happens is as your body's working, it's building up lactic acid in the muscle. That's a byproduct. That's why you have that burn, is that eventually turns into carbon dioxide that you breathe out. Your body converts that, but it takes time, and while that's there, it's actually telling your body that lactic acid buildup helps start that chemical process of building up muscle. So your body will start growing muscle because it senses that acid buildup in the muscle. So it's actually a good thing if you feel that burn or that fatigue in the muscle. Same thing on this side, leg out to the front, stepping forward, other foot up on the bench. Trying for 10 on each side. Whoa. Oh. Whew. So coming up right on an hour. I'm gonna see if I can get through a full set of 3 on these, but we'll go just a little bit over an hour if need be for that. I think it's really important to get everything out of the workout. And for me, I tend to do legs on Monday and Friday because I find my legs take more time to recover than my upper body muscle. Even large muscles like the pecs and the lats recover faster for me than my legs do. So, All right, going into pull throughs. So I'm going to step through the band and walk out to where I feel tension pulling me back. Feet about shoulder width apart, back straight. I should feel all that tension in my hamstrings and standing straight up. Trying to keep my back straight as I do this. Working those glutes as well. And relax, walking back. Oh. I think I'm going to need to stop there for today, actually. As got a good workout in, my heart is beating pretty quick. I am starting to lose form a little bit. So because of that, I want to protect my joints, making sure I'm not going to get to the point where I'm not controlling that movement well. So I'm going to stop here because I can always push myself next workout. But if I'm pushing myself here and I get injured, that's going to just undermine all my workouts for the remainder of the week. So start small. This is the start of, I'm just coming back after deloading, taking a week of lighter work, going back into working heavy again. So I'm going to ease into that and take my time to do that because I have 6 more weeks of this to do, gradually stair-stepping up the difficulty. So it's no good to start at a really high point and then have to go down because you're hurt. It's better to start small and build it up over time. It's that progressive overload. So if you like this sort of workout and want to see more, I host these live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you there.